Bomani. I've been waiting for a prompt that I could finally respond to. A couple years ago, I was out on New Year's Eve with a guy that I was seeing. He had been pissing me off all night, so I wasn't in the best mood when midnight came around. Shortly after midnight, we decided that we were ready to go and wanted to get some food from a gas station that had really good tacos. Sometimes gas station food is really the best. Anyway, it's after midnight. It's New Year's Eve, so you got drunk people like me who are over it and everything in between. We see that the guy behind us in line has a white tee on and a little bit of blood. Not enough to be suspicious, but enough to notice. A couple minutes go by, and we realize the guy is talking out loud, but talking out loud to us. And we turn around to see what he's talking about, and he looks at the guy that I'm with and says, "I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to smoke this cigarette. And when I finish smoking the cigarette, I'm going to come in, and I'm going to whoop your ass." The guy I'm with thinks this is a joke. I knew this was serious. So I watched him go outside, smoke his cigarette, and lo and behold, he comes in and starts trying to swing on the guy that I'm with. Now remember, the guy that I'm with had been pissing me off all night. So all I needed was a reason. So they're going and they're fighting, and I decide to jump in because why not? It's getting intense. Everyone is moving around. His girlfriend is screaming, and I see a chair. And I don't know if it's the wrestling influence, but I was ready to bash it over his head. Luckily, the gas station attendant stopped me from doing so and broke up the fight. The police came, and we ended up getting banned from that gas station for a year, and then that time it closed. So I never got that taco, but I did let my aggression out. Thanks.
I want to know what happened at the end of the night.
Yes, I agree.
Because I feel like that was all shaping up for one hell of a fireworks show. Just the littlest bit of finesse, which it don't sound like Buddy had, right? The littlest bit of finesse and old Lang Syne. Yes, indeed.
Hey, guys. It's Mark Fowler out of Houston. Public school teacher here, although I used to teach and live in Harlem. Post-pandemic, I ended up moving back to Texas, where, of course, taking a big cut in pay, let's say close to 40% from teaching in New York to teaching in Texas, and having not that much of a, they say the price of living down here is cheap. That ain't true when you factor in these cars. So of course, being an underpaid school teacher, I had to get a job waiting tables again. It'd been a minute, so I'm getting back into it. And I'm working at a, higher up establishment, real nice little hotel bar, steakhouse kind of deal. And, one of the best bartenders we got, my man, Ro. Man, this guy was good. Everybody loved Ro. Turns out everyone loved Ro because, he was quick to give a free drink here and there. He'd take care of all the people, including, unfortunately, himself, where one night Ro was, doing his thing, making sure all the people were having a good time. But he was tipping back several shots to the point where the manager calls him over and tells Ro, "Hey, man, I see what you're doing. No big deal. But, hey, I need you to stop. We need to finish up. We need to work. We need to get this done. You can't be drinking on the clock like this." And so Ro looks right at him in the face. He pours out, like a double shot of tequila, looks the manager right in the eyes, clicks that shot back and goes, "Guess it's my last night." Walks out. I'm thinking, man, that's the wildest. I ain't never seen someone so confidently quit a job. Next day, Ro got so hammered, he forgot he quit. He shows up at the job, opening up the bar like it's just a regular day. And they walk over and they got to pull him up, and then they call him to come upstairs. He still has no clue. And then he had to do the walk of shame, getting fired. It was like fumbling the ball at the goal line. Oh, man. Y'all doing great work. Keep it up.
So, Sean, I was thinking to myself, I think he misunderstood the assignment.
Yeah.
And then, as a good teacher would, he said, "No, sir. Now to the assignment." He said he showed up the next day like nothing ever happened.
And for him, nothing even happened. You know, if you're that blackout drunk on the job, you walk it in like nothing happened. That's incredible.
How did he get home? Like, Houston ain't got no subway, homie. Like, how did he look? When he started talking about not having no money, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, say, bruh, no disrespect, but like, you gotta bring it down to vibes. And then it all, like, talk about landing the plane, right? Like, there's a few things happened, but he landed the plane. That was excellent. I mean, at the very least, he might be a really good bartender.
Yeah.
Rose said, I guess you're going to fire me. And he probably showed up with a headache. He's probably struggling, but making it happen.
What's up, Bo? This is Jason from Chicago. I got to tell a story about my freshman football coach. So, he's about 5'2". He's missing his whole front grill. And he said a lot of out of control things, but the most out of control thing he ever said to us, we were in the huddle and, we just gonna, start playing. And he was like, I want y'all to hit. We like, yeah, all right, coach. He's like, I want y'all to hit. We like, yeah, I want y'all to hit. We like, yeah, all right, coach. There you go. I want y'all to hit them so hard, y'all dicks get hard. And it was just like that. Everybody just went quiet. And then he started going down the field. So that's my story.
I knew we'd get some gold with this one. I knew the coaches would not let us down.
It's even better knowing that he gave the visuals of the coach, a 5'2" man with no front teeth and a visor, saying that.
Yes.
What's up, Bo? Hey, long time listener, first time caller. It's kind of getting into the space of fighting with your dad, like trying to fight your dad. But no, I got a mom story that I'm pretty sure you'll like, right? Well, my parents divorced when I was 3. You know, sad story, but, you know, hey, I'm living with moms. And by the time I'm 11 or 12, you know, you start smelling yourself. You do a lot of things. You know, you feel empowered. So I don't know what I said to this woman, but I know I ended with, man, that's why I'm going to go with my daddy. Now, you know that's a trigger, a big trigger. When I say my mom pushed me up against the wall, she's 5, let's say my mom is 5'4". Now, I'm probably 5'6", 5'7" at the time, so I'm bigger than her. So she rushed me against the wall, pushed me up and put her forearm into my throat and say, little nigga, I will kill you. And I think at that moment, I never tried my mom again. God rest her soul. Have a good day, Bo.
Yo, that turned real fast. Now, I do admit that some may argue that there's a thin line between a funny story and child abuse. I do think that there's something to that. Like, I don't know. So like I always say, one thing I noticed, man, about this current generation of parents is y'all don't really be telling too many stories about how much you hate your kids. And I know sometimes you do. You're not fooling me. Every now and then you get them alone and then they explain that these things still happen, right? I don't know if the trauma generation can look back on it with the sense of humor that my generation can. Because I can't lie. I understand that some of you find these stories offensive, but I found that hilarious.
Once I heard that story, it reminded me of my childhood. I'm obviously like of a 1.5 immigrant family. And like, you know, yes. Objectively speaking, my mom and dad would beat my ass sometimes if I got out of line. There was a point, though, where my mom, because I was a little too old and I really needed a scolding, she said, this time you're going to hit me. And she put her hands out with the ruler and it broke me down, Bo. That was the moment where I was like, Mom, you really fucked me up. And I didn't do anything bad for the rest of my life. That really, if you want to get some into real psychological warfare, that's what you got to do.
That is amazing. She's like, nah, your turn. Damn, that's how much you hurt me.
Yes, my mom's an incredible woman, and I always bring that story up of like, oh, your kid's not listening to you? Try this one.
Yo, Yo, Bomani, Sean, what up, though? This is Ashir, living in LA now, probably about 12 years now. But when I first got here, I was taking care of my mom financially, and it didn't start out too hot. And so we weren't doing too well. And so I remember we used to check the rags for deals on groceries every week. And there was this Mexican supermarket called El Super or El Superior or Superior, one of them ones. And every week on Wednesdays, they had deals for produce. And so, we check it every week. See, sometimes they had 3 pounds for $1 for bananas. And one week they had 9 pounds for $1 on watermelon. And I don't know if you keep track of those prices, but boy, that was a lick. So, not wanting to spend money on gas or anything, we both grabbed suitcases, walked about 2 miles to the supermarket, filled both of them suckers up, probably got about a good 10 plus watermelon, and probably spent less than, and I no joke, we probably spent less than $10 on all of that. But and then we dragged them back and just ate watermelon for over a month. And look, man, we had to do what we had to do. But thanks, Bo. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate y'all. Sean, stay safe amongst these fires. All right. Peace.
What you needed to do was wholesale retail the watermelons. You was buying them at retail. You needed to cut them up, be outside your crib with them slices, because somebody gonna pay. Somebody gonna want some of that watermelon. You could have turned into the watermelon man. You had to connect.
Most watermelon won't last a month, so I don't know what kind of watermelon he was eating for that long,
You had to plug. You could have employed some people, maybe from other countries, to be walking around, selling that watermelon, doing like they do in Central Park, where they put a little spice on it. Sandia. That's how you say it in Spanish, sandia. They got the sandia and the spice on it. You could have been out there getting that paper. Instead, you was out here blacking it up. I can say that, and Sean, yeah, you can laugh, Sean, it's cool. Like, he wasn't really blacking it up because everybody loves watermelon, but at the same time, I can't imagine if it was a non-black person looking at you pulling up with suitcases to stuff watermelon into. They probably thought you had 15 kids at the crib.
What's up, fellas? My name's Curtis. I was calling about the dumbest decision I've seen somebody make at work. No, the dude I'm talking about, this is the same dude that we once caught driving a work van to the weed man's house to go pick it up with a big phone number and everything on the side of it, right? So one morning, this dude used to drive some of our vans at night making deliveries. One morning we come in and we find that he has got not only his van stuck in a mud hole, but he has also made the decision to go inside the warehouse and drive the forklift outside to try and lift the van out of the mud hole, and gotten the forklift even further buried in the mud hole than the van was. So needless to say, it took some serious heavy equipment to get his stuff out of the hole, and somehow he did not lose his job over it, but he is no longer working with us, thank goodness. But that is by far the dumbest thing I think anybody could probably do at my job. Thanks.
Sean, I don't know about you, but part of what I enjoy greatly about that story is that is the first time that I heard of a mud hole actually existing in real life, as opposed to that mud hole being stomped in someone's chest. I have only heard of people of stomping a mud hole in somebody. I don't think I'd ever thought about an actual existence of a hole with mud. But there was one here, and then Buddy went and got, Mr. I got an idea. Like, my brother once told me something when I was younger, and it's kind of guided my life in terms of having a measure of compassion for a lot of y'all. And it is, can you imagine what it's like to have terrible judgment? Like, just to not know a good idea from a bad one. Can you imagine? Like you know, there's somebody in your life that you know if you give them a good idea or a bad one, they're going to take the bad one every single time. This seems like that guy.
And I get the like panic mode of like, oh shit, I got the van stuck. What's the best thing to do? Let me use another company vehicle and getting that stuck. Right. It's like don't compound a bad decision with another one, you know?
I'm telling you, generally speaking, in those situations, no matter what, the first step toward a solution is 3 words. Ask for help.
Yo, what up, Bo? Just responding to that prompt about a story I have witnessing someone get fired. This was back in 2012 during college. My friend Al got me a job in the kitchen at a Buffalo Wild Wings in our college town in Central Virginia. The same week I started there, the same week this one dude named John started too, and I was immediately not a fan. The way you talk about dudes from Dallas is exactly how I'd convey this dumbass. And it wasn't just me. He was one of those people that rubbed everyone the wrong way. He was always saying out-of-pocket shit. Yeah, just, I don't know, people, one of those dudes who just thinks they're funny and they say things just to say things, thinking getting a rise out of you is hilarious or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, a few months into working there, I start one shift and begin restocking the appetizers. After a couple of trips to the walk-in, I open the door and see my buddy Al holding John by the throat against the deep fryer. He was saying to his face, if you want to tell stupid jokes all the time, tell me a joke right now. Apparently, John had said an off-color remark to one of the servers a few minutes earlier, who just so happened to be Al's girlfriend. The manager on duty quickly showed up, got Al to let go of John's neck, then took him into the office where he was promptly fired. All these years later, Al is still with his lady and has no regrets. It reminds me of your telling of KRS-One, not letting the disrespect slide. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Sean, that story was so good. And my man wanted to make sure he got all the details right, that he wrote it down. He wrote it down. He nailed it. He may have edited it after he put it in there, but he absolutely wrote that down. That's a Waffle House kind of story right there. I think I may have told you, man, my homeboys were at the Waffle House one night, and they said they heard some dude called a woman, either the register or on the fryer, I can't remember which one, but he called her a bitch, and she got on the phone and was like, yeah. Oh, yeah. They still here. And she got off the phone and she goes, that was my husband. He weighs 300 pounds. You want me to call the ambulance now or you want me to wait? And they left.
I just love the specific detail of he held him over the frying like station, and it's like that like that's very dangerous and actually like a big threat of like, you want to tell a joke now or do you want me to burn you up?
But also part of what's dangerous there, you like telling funny jokes. Tell a funny joke now.
Yeah.
So do you want me to tell a joke or not? Yeah. I don't know which approach is going to get me out of this deep fryer. Do you mean it?
Hey guys, this is David out of Greenville. So my story about when I tried my dad, this is a common thing for most kids, but you know, you want to try and buck up to dad and everything like that. Now, let's be clear. I've never had a reason to want to fight my dad or get buck with him. I never really was disrespectful like that. Smart lip every once in a while, right? But one thing about my dad that a lot of dads can't say is my dad was a black belt in Taekwondo. Now, let's be clear about something. Everybody, daddy, got some kind of story about how amazing they were when they were young. My dad was called Wild Oats. I'm going to say that again. His name was Wild Oats. Okay? This man has lived life. So when he says he was a black belt in Taekwondo, now you got to test it. Nothing serious, nothing crazy. I didn't disrespect my mama or anything like that. I was, throwing little jabs at my dad and, come on, Pops, I got that. My dad did 2 things. He threw a spinning back kick that grazed my chin and stopped his fist an inch from my nose faster than I could blink. He was 45 or probably around 40. It is late 40s at the time because I was young. Yeah. I don't have no stories of fighting my dad, and that's why. Y'all be blessed.
I'm trying to, I definitely would not want to get kicked or to be punched. But that man showing me that he could do this with such precision, that he could confidently just come that close and know he's not going to hurt me, but do it with it. Wow.
That's scarier than anything. Like knowing the person has the power to end your life with a kick or a punch. Yikes.
Yeah, dang, yo. By the way, shout out to Buddy in the chat who said, being a boy raised by a single mom could be tough. You become the dad and don't even know, but still got to remember your role as the son. That is true. that is what it is. Like, that woman has decided she got to let you know what time it is. You dig?
Yeah, tough balance. I've been there, but I think it makes you a better person at the
end. You was wrong though, wasn't you?
100%.
Hey, what's up, Bo? This is Marcus out of Kansas City. Big fan of your show. Just wondering, knowing what you know now, if you had to start a franchise off in 2025-6, who's your starting quarterback? I know everybody would pick Mahomes, but aside from Mahomes, who are you going to go with under center?
All right. My first question is, how did that gentleman wind up in Kansas City, Missouri? Just curious. And I have to say that if you're picking one for right now, and I don't know what exactly the time horizon is, it's really hard not to pick Jaden Daniels, isn't it? I am stunned by how well he played this year. Now, if I recall, he was in college for about 15, 16 years, but I am still surprised that he managed to play as well as he has. What I'm curious to see, though, with the guys that are on that top level, the Mahomes, the Josh Allen, the Lamar Jackson, I'm very curious to see how each of them ages. Like with Josh Allen, who takes a lot of contact, even if he doesn't go down all the time off of it, I don't think that he's going to have a decline like Cam Newton did, which is a decline basically of a running back, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be that sort of situation. But when those guys who take those hits fall off, the fall off comes fast. Lamar Jackson seems to do a good job of avoiding that contact, but athleticism is such a big part of his game. I'm very curious to see how that goes. And with Mahomes also, like, athleticism is a big part of his. He just has maybe the best arm you've ever seen. It's kind of like what I'm saying about those young coaches. You got to trust process and what's going on. You got to see where it goes. And so with him, look, we've got, and this is where the data hurts us, where you wind up with this data that says the only guys that have been that bad that early are guys who washed out, the Josh Rosens and everything, those examples. And so that makes it easier for you to decide to give up because you don't want to waste time. But sometimes you just got to invest in a dude like that. What they probably did wrong was he probably shouldn't have been starting as early as he did, because once they parked him for a couple weeks and he just got a chance to chill and see what was going on, he came back in, and now he out here throwing passes where he turning his back and calling touchdown before they even caught. And to be fair, why would you not be that confident if you were playing against the Atlanta Falcons?
Hey, Bo, Bonnie, Sean, CV from Texas. So I know the voicemail is regarding a TV character, but I've got an actual actor that I can't stand, that I despise every time I see him, and that's Shamar Moore. The reason being, one night we had watched, my wife was watching some movie with Shamar Moore in it, and so I was watching, she was all checking him out. So I went to bed that night. I had a dream. I had a dream that I was going down the street trying to find where my wife was because she wasn't at home. I look up, she's in the car next to me with Shamar Moore. And she's smiling at me like, nah. I just got pissed off. And I'm trying to figure out why is she in the car with Shamar Moore. So I have been despising that dude ever since I had that dream. I won't allow her to watch TV shows or movies with that Joker in it. And in the words of Nino Brown, I didn't like that pretty MFer anyway. Thanks for the call, Bo. Thank you.
Hey, man. When he said she was checking him out or whatever, I was like, oh, okay. I see what direction this is going in. I have so many questions about that man's life, though, because not only was I not expecting that voice to invoke Shamar Moore, though I can see how it happened. Once he started quoting Nino Brown, now I have lots of questions.
And for him, that's not even a dream. That's a pure nightmare for him. If seeing him in the car with this girl.
No, it is not. And she was looking at him like, daddy, boo-boo. Partner, you got to work this out, man. You need to go talk to somebody about this before this gets bad.
So good. It's funny. I played that for my wife who she likes Shamar Moore, and she was like, "What? Did he say anything about him being a bad actor?" I was like, "No, it's all about this dream that happened to him," which is even better.